Hello everyone, hello my friends, this is Doug. I'm in Kingman, Arizona. One thing I don't like about these smartphones, when I'm in the sunshine, with the glare of the screen, I can't even see the buttons or what I'm doing, so I can barely see myself. But as you can see, well maybe you can't see, I want to go with a little walk. I'm going to go with, go on a walk with you right now, and talk with you as I'm moving. I apologize. I'm ready. I'm on my way home, and I'm looking forward to a little bit of a shave and a trim here. So I'm on my way to Tulare, California, which is maybe about an 8-hour drive from here. And then from there, I'm going from Tulare to Phoenix and then home. So I hope to be home tomorrow. But anyway, in this backdrop here, you can see I'm in a big lot. It's huge. This is a Petro truck stop where last night when I came in around midnight, it was dark, and all these empty spaces that you see here behind me were full. All these spaces here were full of trucks. And it's now about 8 o'clock in the morning here locally in Arizona. But you can still see there's a lot of trucks here. This is a big lot. These are all the people that I want to reach with the Fight the Forces of Evil tour that I'm on, with the DVDs and with my videos, and to reach out, connect, and let these people know, every one of them, that there are other options. I talked to a truck driver last night as I was reworking my load. My load was overweight and I had to go back. So yesterday was a long day. I was supposed to pick up my load in Flagstaff, Arizona. And there's a truck, you can hear it running beside me. And probably if other trucker drivers see me walking around with this camera, they probably wonder, who am I talking to and what in the world am I doing? But anyway, yesterday I had a pickup at 1300, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was 3 hours late. It was going to be ready at 4, so I went back at 1600 in the afternoon, picked it up, got loaded, left, went and weighed it, and it was 1,500 pounds over on my rear tandem axle, which means it was illegal. So I had to go all the way back to the shipper and get it reworked. So anyway, the bottom line, I ended up not leaving till around 9 o'clock last night, so I had a full 8 hours of extra time added to my journey, which is ultimately was my journey to go back home. So one thing I've learned with truck driving, everything has a good and a bad. It's a good and a bad. There's always duality. And let me explain. It was bad that, and a bummer, I was anxious to get home, that I was given 2 more loads to do before going home. I was originally just going to go home from Flagstaff, but I got these 2 additional loads. Well, that was kind of a bad thing, and I felt a little bit out of control, like, wow, I don't even have control of my own life and what I do. And it was kind of a bummer. However, the good thing is I earned more money. Okay, I'm going to have more money when I go home. I'm still going to have the same 3 days off I was going to have. And ultimately, my driver manager doesn't even talk to me. He's not really like a manager or a boss, really. I've been out now almost a month, and I've talked to him twice on the telephone. And if I really, really, really wanted to go home yesterday, I could have pressed the issue. And usually what I don't like to get to this point, but I always have if I don't go home, I'm parking the truck. I'm going to go home one way or another. And usually that works, but I usually don't like to go to that extreme. And what I try to do, the good part of a situation like that, what I try to do is trade myself with other. I try to put myself in Nick's position. His intention was not to delay me going home. His intention was to get me home but earn some more money. and give me the best option possible, because it was the best option to go home at that point. So what this whole experience has done for me is I'm constantly having to reframe things, and often things aren't exactly the way I want them to go, but that's how life is. Even if you quit your job, okay? Even if you liberate yourself and you don't have a quote-unquote boss, and you have your own business, as much as you want everything to go right all the time, it's never going to be that way. Now, you'll have times where you hit your goals, you have breakthroughs. You know, I'm not going to mention any incomes here, because there is an income disclosure connected to, you know, the Opportunity to Empower network that I'm connected to, but I'm not necessarily talking about that now. What I'm talking about is you can have some financial breakthroughs and earn a lot of money, but that isn't only what it's about. Money just gives you more choices. It gives you freedom. It gives you the choice to do what you want, with whom you want, whenever you want, just like Anthony Robbins talks about. But it doesn't necessarily mean that all your problems are going to go away. In fact, Anthony Robbins talked about, there was a point, I don't know if you know about his story, but there was a point that one of his employees, embezzled his money and basically almost took all of his money, to the point he almost was bankrupt and almost lost everything. And that's when he decided to reinvent himself and start producing info commercials. He got into action. That breakdown, that problem, taught him some lessons to surround himself with people he trusts, but also to get into action and overcome that problem, and ultimately he did. And that's what happens when you are free and you're doing your own thing. Okay, you're going to have problems. You're going to have breakdowns. You're going to have people that disappoint you. You're going to have team members that quit. You're going to have all kinds of things that happen. But you can't, we used to have the saying, don't be a wussy. You can't be a wussy about it. And that's how this whole world is out here, the trucking world. When I started this, just even in the training time, to give you an example, I went through a recruiter. I went through 2 weeks of just really quick training, okay, and then went out with a mentor, a trainer. By the time I was driving, about the first month or so, I found out about 90% of the people that I was in training with had quit already. And so it was a 90% turnover. 90% of people quit. So many of these people here, in fact, all these trucks you hear, believe it or not, this is just one truck stop. These are people that are part of the 10% of people that have stayed with it, that haven't quit. When the going got rough, they didn't quit. So these people in these trucks here, although they're driving a truck, doing very much what I do, they're also doing a tremendous service. Through them, everything you see in the stores that here in America has to come often by boat from China or from across the sea. Then it gets in a container or a rail, but ultimately at some point, normally a truck is involved. The merchandise has to be shipped to a warehouse, and that's what I do. When I don't really drive a truck, what I do is I move freight from city to city that ultimately ends on the shelves of a store. That's a service that I do. That's a service that we all do. So anyway, this is my truck here. I'm going to turn the camera around. Kind of an old trailer. You can see it's kind of rusty and stuff. It's not the trailer I have all the time. So I have to pick up the trailer that, in this case, it was a preloaded trailer, and deliver the merchandise from one city to another. So I'm on a mission. So that's what I'm on right now. So there's always good and bad with everything. And the way, you know, you have probably been told is the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So what I try to do, not try, but I do, I bring excellence to my job. I have a brand new 2012, I was actually 2014 Volvo, which is a really nice truck. And it's quiet, it's comfortable. I've given it, I don't have to pay any of the expenses. And I always have the option, and this is where money comes in, I can always pay cash for a truck if I choose to, have my own website, broker my own clients, and work on my own schedule at any time. The only thing that gets in the way really is money. So money gives you freedom. But sometimes you have to make sacrifices, you know. To buy a truck that I'm driving right now, this is probably a $150,000 truck. It's kind of funny when you think about it. Think about what a $150,000 car would be like. What kind of car would that be? I don't know if that would be a Maserati or a Bentley or what type it would. But this truck that I'm driving now is the same cost, or it would cost you as much money as driving a Bentley or a Maserati. So when I drive this, you know, I feel prosperous, believe it or not, even though it's not a Maserati or a Bentley. And these trucks do amazing things. If you can think of hauling 45,000, I have 45,000 pounds of freight, and my gross weight is almost 80,000 pounds, and these things pull freight, one load after another, 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 after another. We can put 1,000,000 miles on these trucks and go and go and go, and you couldn't do that with a car. Can you imagine having a Bentley and putting a trailer hitch on the back of it and pulling 45,000 pounds of freight across the country? You probably couldn't do it in a Bentley. Now, I admit it would be nice to have a Bentley or a Maserati or a beautiful car sitting in my garage, so when I go home, I can go from this to a beautiful car, have the best of both worlds. But anyway, those are just some of my thoughts as I'm waiting for my 10-hour break to expire so that I can hit the road. I should be in Tulare in just a few hours, and then I have a preloaded trailer. I'm going right from Tulare, California to Phoenix and then home. So I'll stay in touch with you, and I'm enjoying putting my comments and posts on my friend Princess Business on all her posts, and my friends Chris and Susan Beasley and all the other friends I have. I really enjoy reading the posts here as I'm on the road. I appreciate the comments and the likes and watching this video. It does make it, I have kind of the best of both worlds the way I look at it. I have solitude and quiet. I have as much of that almost as I want, and then at the same time I can connect with people via Facebook and using technology. But because of the events, every 3 months I can have like a family reunion. It's kind of cool, and at any point I can choose to be completely free and go visit some of you that I made contact with initially on Facebook. It's kind of cool, actually. So this is Doug signing off from Kingman, Arizona. Getting ready to roll here. It's a little bit hot, and I'll talk to you guys soon.